Okay, I'm here with Harstem at HomeStory Cup. How are things going at the moment?
I'm fine at the moment. Didn't play any games yet, so I'm really looking forward to playing my group. My first match is going to be against Symbol, so I'm looking forward to that.
One of the unique things about HomeStory Cup, obviously, is that players watch other games that are going on and they cast the games as well. And so, whereas at some other tournaments, you play your games and then you go away from the tournament area, or you don't really watch anyone who's not your teammates. You've seen a bunch of games that have gone on already. What would you pick out from day one as the highlights or the good storylines?
NaNiwa beating MC and the goodie game against Stefano on Metropolis. It was so epic to watch. It was like a 1 hour long TVC, and yeah, I really enjoyed that one. And NaNiwa beating MC is obviously quite a big upset, and then sadly losing the second time, but still kind of nice.
Okay, so actually both of those games, NaNiwa beating MC obviously is a huge result, because it's been so long since NaNiwa's done anything, even though he's had a decent sized name in Europe. And obviously people usually maybe are a bit rude about Goody rather. They think he's kind of a gimmicky or a joke player, but every now and then he has a good result against someone. So what would you say was the reasoning as to why both of these players were able to have those good results?
I don't really know. I think Goody has always been, when I play him on ladder, I actually have quite some trouble against him. He has really strong timings and he understands the game really well, because if he just had the mechanics to back it up, I think he would be one of the top players in Europe. But as you could see also in the game against Stefano, I got supply block before the 100 supply mark 4 or 5 times already, and those were in small supply blocks as well. It's 1 minute or 1.5 minutes, and yeah, that's just so big. You can't really afford that at this level anymore.
And in terms of NaNiwa?
NaNiwa is always a bit of an unpredictable player. Some call it, I think he just has his own style. It's a bit cheesy, I guess. 3cc into Cloak Banshee into Mech. I don't think MC ever saw that before, but yeah, I guess that's why NaNiwa was able to take home those games, because he was a bit unpredictable.
Okay, so before this tournament, you had this Numeric Cup in France, and then you had Thor Open before that. The interesting thing is, at the Thor Open, you actually got to play against Kaz, who's in your group here. So, how does that change, how you think about this group now, and what your chances are versus each of the players?
I think I have decent chances against Symbol. My PVZ is actually pretty strong. I don't play as much late game as other people do, but I have really strong strategies, really strong builds, and I feel kind of confident in PvT. So against Kaz, it's going to be a little bit harder. Kaz is a really solid player, plays so many games. If I would play a certain build, he already played against that build at least 50 times, because he plays so much. He might not be the most creative player, but he's really, really solid. And against Night End, we practice so much together that we basically know each other's strategies by heart. So we're gonna have to mind game each other, or it's gonna be really weird to play against him, I feel like, if I have to play against him.
In all the other groups, people could probably say, okay, I think these two players are the most likely, and then there's maybe one who can fight for the second place. In this group, objectively, do you think most people will be counting you out of this group? They're going to think it's going to be Night End and Symbol, or Symbol and Kaz? What were your expectations?
I think normally if you would open a poll somewhere, it would probably be Symbol and Night End, to be honest. Maybe Symbol and Kaz. I think everyone will think Symbol will go through. I'm not sure if it will be that easy for Symbol, to be honest. Kaz has been doing really well lately. And I'm pretty confident in my PVC, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, so you've actually only been on the tournament circuit a few months now, maybe 6 months or something. And so obviously a lot of the people here have a lot more experience than you, a lot more tournaments. Where do you see yourself at in your career now? What would be an acceptable placing at this tournament for you? What would you be satisfied with if you could reach this certain level at this event?
I would be satisfied if I would, normally I would say get through the second group stage, but now that I already got a really hard group, I would be kind of satisfied getting through this group. And then, it really depends what players you get in the next group. So I hope I can get through this group at first.
It seems like usually when players come along and they start in their career, initially they're really confident because they've been playing these guys online and maybe they've won a few times or they've had close games, so they think, I'm sure when it gets to the offline, I'll be fine, things go But then like the first few tournaments, if they don't have really big results, that can be discouraging, or people wonder like, oh, what do I have to do to like be able to do offline what I do online? Like how has the transition been to you to going into these tournaments now? Like how close to your kind of potential of how good you thought you were before are you now?
Well, like you mentioned, I thought I was really good the first few times I went to tournaments. I was like, yeah, I beat this guy like 5 times last time we played, and then my first tournament was Aces Rock in Finland, and I got completely crushed. I didn't even take a single map there, so yeah, that was kind of a wake-up call for me. I started practicing a lot more after that as well, and then slowly but steadily my results started improving. TBH Valencia I got through the first group stage. Bucharest I got through the second group stage and then lost 2-1 to TLO in the round of 16. And then at ESWC I got through the round of 8. And yeah, DreamHack Winter went okay, but I didn't qualify. But yeah, I think I'm getting closer to where I really want to be. I'm also getting a little bit more consistent, I feel like. Before, some days I would play really well and other days I would lose to everyone on ladder, in online tournaments and even offline. But lately I feel like now that I got myself a certain routine, I'm getting better and getting closer to my full potential.
If we talk only about European Protoss players, it seems like there's only like 1 or 2 names who are like rig stars, or like people say they're definitely top players. And then there's like, seems like there's a lot who are like sort of the mid tier of the pros there. And each tournament almost you have a couple of different Protoss players who go further out of the Europeans. Who do you see in terms of like the people who are above your level? Like who are your peers who are at your level now? Where do you see yourself?
I think it's really hard to think. Mana is better than me at this point. Mana, Grubby, and Manchade probably. I think, yeah, and Night End as well actually. I think those are the 4, yeah, the 4 Protoss players in Europe that are, yeah, that are above my level. And the rest is...
So NaNiwa isn't?
I don't think NaNiwa is very good, to be honest. He might be good in a tournament where he can prepare, but if I would have to play him in a tournament like with lots of different rounds on DreamHack, I wouldn't be scared of him at all.
Oh, okay. Actually, you mentioned Manchade there. He's actually one of the few guys who's like come up really quickly over the last few months. Because like his first tournaments were maybe not so prestigious, like the IESF one, people didn't really know like what to make of it. How good is Manchade? Like, what is he good at?
Yeah, basically everything except for PvT. His PvP is amazing. His PvZ is probably the best in Europe, and yeah, his PvT is kind of lacking. So he got a pretty hard group. I think he has to play Braddock first.
Possibly, yeah. He's in the Braddock MMA and
yeah. So 2 really good Terrans. Braddock.
And Moman, I think.
Yeah, Moman. Yeah, I don't think he will have lots of trouble with Moman because his PvZ is amazing. Yeah, I feel like he's a really good and solid player. You won't see him cheese very often, and if he will do it, it will be very well calculated builds, and he normally plays against the player if he does cheese builds, so he won't just do the same cheese every single time against different Zergs. Yeah, I think he's a really good player and also a good friend as well. So.
Okay. Since there's so many like famous names at this tournament, but some of them are people where maybe their name is attached to like results from over a year ago, then there's some people whose names aren't that famous, but they might actually be really good right now. It's kind of boring when people are just like, oh, what will your top 3 be? Because then everyone's just going to pick like Marine King, you know, these big names to go there. So who would you pick out as like, pick me 3 people out who the public wouldn't be expecting to make like a top 4, top 8 run, but you think like these guys have a really solid chance at it?
Snutte.
I'll give you a reason why for each.
Yeah, he's just so good, so underrated. When you play him, he's everywhere with his units. He's so aggressive with everything, well positioned. His fights are amazing, and his CVZ is very good. I saw him play against Nurcho, and he got kind of crushed against Vortex. But yeah, I think his CVZ is very good. His CVP is incredibly good, and I don't know about his CVT, but he's just a really good player in general. He used to be very gimmicky actually, like 6-7 months ago. He used to bane and bust almost every game against every race, but nowadays he's gotten a lot more solid and a lot better. Then I would say Monchi, but he kind of established himself already, so I'm not sure if people look out for him. But he will do very well this tournament, I feel like.
Who else?
I don't really know. I think
those two stand out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think MC won't go far, and yeah, that's basically it. I'm not very good at predicting, so I'll leave it to that.
Okay, then the two names you've given me, just to give some context, like of how good you think they are versus how like the public perception might be. Like, are Monchi's chances to go far in this tournament better than Mana's chances? Is who's the other person? Snooter. Are his chances better than Stefano's chances? Like, give me some context. Like, where were they? Who were they along with at this tournament?
Yeah, if I would have to put money on it, I would let Snooter go further into this tournament than Stefano. Stefano has been kind of slumping lately, I feel like, especially against Protoss. He always claimed that Zerg was overpowered against Protoss, but lately every time he got knocked out in a tournament it was against the TOS most of the time. Yeah, Snoot is, I think, a little bit better than him at the moment. And Monchi, I don't know how he relates to Mana, to be honest, because I only know their PvP. I think PvZ-wise Monchi is a ton better, but PvT-wise Mana is a lot better, so yeah, it's going to be really close between them. I think they're at the same level.
Okay, so the last thing I wanted to know was, just from your own individual perspective, how has like the Zerg patch recently affected things for you, like the changes that were made there? Is it like a significant change? Is it just in a couple of like obvious scenarios that it's a difference? Because people have said, like, in theory, Protoss maybe is the one that should benefit the most from this, because like certain 3-base timing all in should be a lot better, you know?
Yeah, I haven't really been able to change my strategies yet, because I've been, 2 weeks ago I was in Sweden, and this weekend before I was in France, so I didn't really change my strategies to the patches, so I haven't practiced like a new kind of late game. I don't know if carriers work better now, but I feel like all 3-base pushes increased in strength quite a bit, because now you can force field the infestors away. Yeah, maybe the Immortal wing got a little bit stronger because infestors don't shut it down immediately like they used to. So I'm not sure if this is the correct change, because it makes the cheesy options that Protoss had a lot more stronger than they were before, and I'm not sure if it actually changes anything in the late game. I would have preferred to see an infested Terran change, like a bigger one than there is now. So yeah, I need to test it. I'm not completely sure yet.
Okay, any final words, any final message?
Yeah, I would like to thank my fans, my family, my friends, and of course my team and my sponsors, Raidcall, MSI, ISO and Steel Series. Thank you for sending me everywhere for the past few weeks and months. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for the interview.